I also had to palama di taxi. That dude was gonna take me home. And if at all he had taken me home, if he had dropped me off, he would have seen boy. That guy, if he had... Listen, the second date where I met him was where he showed me flames. If that dude has stuck around 1 month in my life, and not just 1 week, because this thing happened in just 1 week. If he had lasted 1 month, never mind 1 week, Unato hold his horses and say, listen, you're speaking too soon. You're speaking too soon. Because he would have dropped me off Koheso one day after work and seen where I live and realized that I guess I am in his league. Because inside the house, everywhere, my neighborhood, beautiful, right? He would have seen where I lived. He would have met, I wouldn't have introduced him to my mom all that soon. Maybe I would have, I don't know. Mara, I get it because he was my boy. He would have been my boyfriend. We would have gone partying together. I was going to leave the gay guy so fast. That's like a naked gay guy. Like, I was not going to. He was going to see see where I live. And so realized, okay, I spoke too soon. My house where I stayed was so beautiful in comparison even to his little apartment that was clearly for little bachelors. I was going to upgrade him. Yeah, underestimate Tile. Partner, let me upgrade, just show you some things, introduce you to some new things, and nah man, I might not have the degree, but I had style, I had taste, I had fashion, I had something that I was gonna do in the future. And so that apartment there, how, and like koyona with your boy, where he was roommating with another dude. I never got him his boy, he wasn't there that night. Mara. He needed every man. When a woman comes into a man's life, oh yeah, look panel beat. Introduce you to some new things and make some upgrade like I'm Beyonce or whatever. I was gonna upgrade that dude, even though Nikki to go call centering. And the next year, lo and behold, I registered again at Wits. The very next year, I paid my fees off that year and I was back at Wits Plus again. I was back at Wits continuing with my degree. So now finally I was going to be on the same trajectory as him. Nekitoba a student again. And so I was basically going to find myself back slotted in to what he called his league. He passed me up. He entirely passed me up. If he had stayed for more than 1 week instead, or if he had stayed for a month, he would have seen where I stayed. And then he would have also seen, I get it, we were all young on some partying as a young people. We were all young, and my sister is older than me only by 2 years. My sister was his exact age, his peer. And my sister, hey, Shem, Natlo Murat. He was gonna love my sister because my sister was an academic just like him, same age, and very successful for their age. My older sister would have slayed him in terms of even credentials, right? My older sister would have, not graduated already, had a very, like, beautiful career. My sister's apartment, remember, Pana, let me upgrade you, introduce you to some new things, and my sister was living in an apartment. You need a new woman in your life. Yeah. I'm gonna show you flames, right? He was gonna see my sister's apartment where she stayed and realize even how substandard Norwood was. My older sister stayed in Morningside in a very cute, quaint, beautiful 1-bedroom apartment with the dude that she was with at the time, the American guy, right? Never go that place. They had that they used to drive. No, this time around, did my sister, was my sister's guy here, or the two of them came back together, man. But I just remember that Hyundai gets just, where was my sister's guy? I don't know, but they were yet to break up. Maybe he was still in the US, because at some point he made a decision to move to South Africa briefly, and then stuff happened. That's another story. No, it's not another story for another day. It's not my story to tell, right? Some other things fell apart over there, but ultimately my sister would upgrade again. Oh yeah, no, this was the first time around that she came back, and this time around, this first time when she came back, she was in a long distance relationship with this guy that was in the US, because I guess she studied in America. So this guy that was in the US, it was a long distance relationship, and then my sister briefly went back to the US, and then this guy came back with her. And the second time around when they came back, they bought a house, an apartment in that same complex, but this time it was a much bigger, much roomier 2-bedroom, whereas with like a loft establishment that could have been made a 3rd bedroom. Whereas this time around, it was my sister's apartment that she was renting, not so much having paid for, that was a 1-bed and was very beautifully well furnished. And when my sister was out of the country, I was house sitting her house. So if that dude had, who got to enjoy the benefits of Ilafyam Elani, feeling beautiful, lifestyle lama, it was my boyfriend, the one that came after. Lo apa angisho ungi passe shade. I get on passes shady. It's okay. You ain't got jack. guess who gained all of the glory and the joy and the peace and the juice of being the boyfriend of a chick that's out here upgrading a partner? It was the guy that would come for 5 years. Mara, why would the guy with 5 years when in and of himself he was not necessarily an academic or whatever? This guy no other reason but academia. And the guy that I did finally leave the gay guy for, I know shame, he got to experience it. He got to experience a very beautiful love. Experience it by a lady in Jeffela that he liked when he saw her at a distance and was like, give me your number, and then final. Guys, what the dating, guys? I'm like, get your look at Naki Hanak. Kiss a hair chair. Nah, this is long kiss a command tlung, the sofa bong mebalona long shabagamma. Put me in your bed and then say, now, your girlfriend. Never again. You better feed me. If you don't feed me, you ain't my man. You better feed me. And that dude, the one that came after him, he basically picked up where he left off. The broken heart I tried to Mofatse. Ngara a Swarovski crystal dropped from the 11th floor. Why drop a little crystal yabandla? Why patch her back together, unfortunately with sticky tape, but nonetheless I got to experience a relationship and normal for the first time in my life, and I guess that's why it lasted 5 years, which is why I say that dude worked with KPMG. If he did not mess up with that attitude, I'd probably be married to him today. I need the bathroom. I'm back and I'm breathing heavy anyway. Listen, because I just wanted to like sing to make myself feel better, but I guess I started talking. If we sing the peanuts just to make myself feel better or whatever. But anyway, I'm busy telling a story sense, or maybe it does make sense. What do you think? What's your opinion, Set? I don't know. And at this particular juncture, I think I might not even care. Tell me, how should I breathe with no air? No air, no air. Ooh, ooh. Anywho, this dude won't pass up and Jack Pella cause a popa. Beg. He spent a week in my life. Begging. Mara, if he had spent a month, not a week, in my life, first and foremost and realize okay, listen, she's not just some whatever girl. And it looks as if though it is up my alley. Familiar, I get it because you make decisions based on even if family or munt. And then because my sibling was in and out of the country, always traveling, I used to babysit her house. I used to house sit. Babysit. I used to house sit, and so it would essentially be my apartment during the time when my sister was overseas. And understand that during the time when I met this guy, I was taking myself to driving school. Was I taking myself to driving school? Or no, I already had a driver's license. I could already drive. Because I believe I got my driver's license during the time when I was that guy. Yeah, I definitely already had my driver's license. 22 is too old. I think I got my driver's license at either 20 or 21. I already had my driver's license. And so my sister had drove this Hyundai Getz that, like I said, whenever she was out of the country, which was quite a lot, I had a vehicle. I had a car. I literally remember driving to Teleshore, where I used to work, in my sister's car. Like, I remember. After that, I worked at Brown Park on that bank, call centering. And I remember even some days driving to that job with that Getz. So this dude over it's a judgment call haphazardly bodlapa. Asangzebi beke fela wabele wabona umuntu wamateksi too serious and call center ngantshwanele. Ophuma kimi kana kwateng every so often I be driving the streets of Joburg ngemoto. My sister also this guy ungiyathitheka speedy and he only saw me twice. The second time, that's when I was like my sister used to I guess she was overseas, and every so often magabuya megaletanje izinto ezi very interesting. Negeapara top to toe langkutla. I was actually known for it laming sevenza corner at Teleshore, even from as early as training. I was already working with Teleshore now at that stage for a couple of months, but I was known. Do you understand? For go Teleshore, the training you get the job and then you go on training for like 3 months because they had to teach up to NQF level 3 for personal lines insurance phase in order for people to work that job, right? To be a claims consultant, in order, like, regulation required that we basically just be kind of done over there. And so for 3 months you weren't working, however you were getting a salary and you were on training in order for you to get your NQF level 3 phase accreditation in order to be a consultant or an employee at an insurance company. And during that 3 months when we were on training, I was just known amidst those kids that were all hired in the capacity to work in this company at various departments as the chick wadiaparo. I was known as the chick wadiaparo because listen, there was, even as a teenager, because of my older sister, umzimba wam moqhitheka engathi ngamanzi kaDonna Karen, like DKNY from tip to toe. I smelled of Dior perfume because of my sister. I used to rock Donna Karen quite a lot because for whatever reason my sister narata DKNY, and so she used to buy me a lot of DKNY. I was a lowly. My career was lowly. I did not have much. Listen, my family hasn't always been crazy. My sister she had my back quite a lot when I was on the come up. So before I came to Christ, my family members were not this weird. This here is a Christian issue. So understand when I say make it even though I had to drop out of school, my mom was the one that was negligent. Like she was my mom. So even though so you can understand the way my sister there was a year when there were 30,000 rands, not getting 30,000 rands worth of school fees outstanding at Wits. And my sister, there was a couple of 20,000s worth of rands outstanding at Wits for fees from the previous year. And I had to raise about almost like 10,000 rands, like 8,000 something. I had not paid the previous year's fees, on. So 20,000 something. And to register was about 8,500. And you can't, if you don't pay your fees off, neither register. You can't register if at all your previous year's fees are not paid off. And usiswam the way wakipa le 30,000. Listen, she literally paid 30,000 rands and then said, it's nothing. You'll pay me back with pizza one day. She paid my fees and didn't even ask for a refund. She didn't say you're gonna pay this back to me once you start working. She did not say, dude, 30K was nothing. Well, see, that was my sister. So understand, if at all mengvuza it Donna Karen. Okay, so I got the opportunities and I'm overseas. And my sister was aware that my mom was somewhat cold and aloof towards me, not negligent. So Usiswam was like, I got this. So Puma from America, from Italy, and then went to the US. And every time she would come back, like I said, Dior perfumes, Donna Karen, Mabanda, Dihempe. Since I was a teenager, my sister left for Italy when she was 16 and I was there for 14. So you need to understand CVs how no moto that can deny that. John Adamson. That's why I was popular. CVs day DKNY. Like I'm speaking, my sister was like Puma, Banana Republic. Like yo, when I say I was like Cher in high school or Dion from the movie Clueless. When it comes to the way that maybe that's why people thought that I was a spoiled brat. Maybe that's why people were of the opinion that I was a rich kid because and very expensively. My ex-boyfriend, the one that passed away, he used to be like, yo, I rata DKNY. He was like, oh, I rata DKNY ne. Because I was always just dripping DKNY. If it's a jean skirt, it's a Donna Karen. If it's a jean jacket, it's a Calvin Klein. My sister used to buy me designer labels. And she would just rock up and just like from overseas and be like, here. So, I mean, like I said, Puma sneakers. A lot of times it was sneakers that she bought me because I was yet to enter into the phase of Dikwakwang, and I say cute, but she also bought me these other like just Stella, these shoes. I don't want to go and fetch that bag. She bought me these like stunning shoes that look like this bag. This here is a Valentino, right? She bought me you see, I just hold on to like stuff that I had from back in the day, barely ever used, because for crying out loud, I have lots of designer stuff. I have lots of designer shoes. I have designer bags. Listen, some people would want to rock up here and loot it. This is a real Valentino. Do you understand what I'm saying? And my sister brought me shoes from overseas that look like this bag, a lot darker, like a lot more maroon, with like embroidery around the edges, and they were one size too small. Because where am I gonna get these again? I'm not giving them to anyone. I wore them, a little uncomfortable, because I was like, didn't they? Some gorgeous the heel of it was like wood. It's thick. She used to buy me the Dumont from overseas. Y'all know, if you've shopped is it Socrates or Euro? No, it's Europa art. There's a brand there called Dumont. I learned about the brand Dumont from my sister. Before before I could purchase it from South African stores, it was already rocking up from like overseas. My sister stayed in the US for a season, but she was well traveled. She went everywhere across the world. And because my family is fashion, my sister would buy lots of designer gear, lots of designer apparel. everywhere where she went, Dubai, unareka, this unareka, this unareka, wherever she went. And the first place where she started buying a whole chunk of designer gear was in Italy, and y'all know that that's like the fashion center of the world, right? From overseas and bring them home to me. So I was always just out here rocking, carrying around purses of this nature. Go call Senteng. If that dude has stayed, like I say, all he needed to be in my life for was 1 month. Okay, so she's sitting in a call center. Mara shebadi that's a high. Urutiko call Senteng, Mara look at her belt. Urutiko call Senteng, Mara look at her jacket. Urutiko call Senteng, Mara look at her coat. This chick is sitting in a call center, Mara every so often she's driving around the streets of Johannesburg in the Hyundai gets. Chere urutiko call Senteng, Mara every a couple of months in a year sometimes udula ko Sandton in a very beautiful apartment, fully furnished in a complex in Jefela. Moho kenwan kadi hunale manned security go gating, high walls and everything, gated community. Also ona udula ko morning side a couple of months in a year. Because also I think udlale overseas ko Jefela. Like I said, my sister parted ways 1 year, got almost 30,000 rands in Jeffela to pay off not only my previous year's fees, but also my registration fee. To pay off my registration fee so I could go back to school that year. And then I, of course, paid the rest of that year's fees because now I was Koskolongile comfortable type establishment thing. If that dude had just sat around for one little meager month, he wouldn't have nyatzed at me like that, right? He not only would have met my sister, realized, okay, this is the pedigree of family that I would be marrying into, right? But he would have also gone to my sister's apartment at some point because if he's my boyfriend, he's probably going to come there, especially because my sister, she would, like I said, if we would date for like a couple of years, right? She ended up moving to the 2-bedroom apartment, and because my sister was young in and of herself, we used to like, no, my sister wasn't there that time. Party. She would throw like a lunch or a dinner. I remember one birthday I had a dinner at my sister's apartment because she was away. A 2-bed, the one that was like a double story, like a duplex. And there was switch off our electricity because I used to throw some hectic parties when I was growing. This dude would have enjoyed so much of what I was, and I would have been right up his alley. And if anything, I would have upgraded him and introduced him to some new things, and lifestyle needed tweaking. He needed filing, like some fingernails that were a little bit rough around the edges because the person is always washing dishes or whatever. You fine, she went through a rough patch seasonally. A girl got to work. You know what it was like? It's like at MTN, there was this guy who was a senior manager, senior manager. And one time when my colleague was like, you see that guy over there? I was like, yes, I do see him. Say, pray tell, what say of you of him over there? He was like, what's going on? I said, it's MTN. This guy's family are billionaires. He's only working in corporate South Africa because he wants to. He doesn't have to work. He was a senior manager, a boss of, a team and whatnot. But my friend, like, he was an Arab, like, he looked Arabic, not so much Indian. And this chick was like, that guy over there was hop up and down more corporate day. One time we asked him, after telling us about his family that's practically royalty, as to why are you working? He was like, what, must I sit around there jumping because I am an heir? I wanted to work. I like waking up in the morning and coming to a job. I like feeling a sense of my own achievement. I come here and I collect a salary because I like it. Yeah. He was a very humble guy, very, very humble, but he was frankly royalty, and he was living among us, walking among us. There are people like those in this world. There are people like those in this world that come from relatively comfortable spaces, but they choose to be amidst peasants, if you will. Not that I came from a comfortable space, but the level of underestimation of that dude would have quickly fizzled off if at all he had seen the rest of my family. He would have seen how well my family lives. He would have seen essentially the high-end lifestyle of my mom and my sister. And precisely because of my sister, if my mom was more responsible with my life, I wouldn't have even struggled with things like dropping out. It's just that my mom was negligent of me. But she's never been a woman she's never been a woman pila kadi scraps, kadi beans, kadi potatoes, le rice. That's not my mom. How come if you guys were to see my mom today, you wouldn't even know that the daughter that she has, that's what I'm getting at, compared to my family, compared to my extended family, especially my immediate. abophelo bo ha bongtshwanele. Abantu bakithi bahle bagcoka ama-designer labels. Abantu bakithi baskunu banuka i-designer perfume. Abantu bakithi bahlala bathenga izinto. Today nje fela, today as like this 5th of December that it is, it's actually the 6th now because it's already like after midnight. It's 1:53. Before I start to record, I'm on because my mom is ashamed of herself because of what she's doing to me. Yeah, I heard a whole bunch of activity come on. Who busy nje fela movement. Usually I khona le movement engata one pizza akere. She's like, "Karabo kopong thusa go get this thing." Kopong thusa go get this thing. This time around she didn't ask me because she decided to deprive me of any kind of financial enablement this month because of a witchcraft spell that is presently in operation that I didn't even think would take. It will ultimately lift. Mara for now she's busy breaking my heart. And so because she's breaking my heart, I'm really busy. I spend all up in my grill. Understand, my life is very different from that of my family members. Oregile tafole entsha for the lounge. Oregile tafole entsha for the lounge. Why kuka I1? Because what's about right now wang sotla. And so because wang sotla ntse le busy ma metse boloi. Ang rika havoc in my life. Asna tabakanna. We kukile tafole le one, and only when I went in the house to go and use the bathroom I understood what was that activity come on. Nele enge kudlu enenze ki utlwa motho ntse kuka dintho a le nosi. And that's what's giving. Yeah. So when I went in the house, I was like, oh, look at that. We've got a new coffee table and it's very elaborate in comparison to the old one. If anything, I saw the old one already on top of outside. There's like an old washing machine that broke down and it's like covered in plastic and everything. It's yet to be collected. And this table was on top of it. I was like, yo, tafole. So go choro hona le tafole entsha etlang. Or elengo jarateng. And indeed, go harantlu and indeed hakena. Kiele tafole. Inch. What I'm getting at is that every so often, once every couple of months, I will buy something from Temu, and then there'll be a dude ekitini. I've got delivery for Kira. And then dude will be out rocking up giving me my delivery mara almost like every month, definitely minimum twice a month. Both my mom and my younger sister receive packages upon packages ezisindayo from Temu, and when they're busy upsetting the living daylights out of me, if my little sister's not here, sometimes my mom tells the delivery guy go Temu drop mo dating drop mo kitchen mo pela mo ya kwa kitchen, because what's about now when I wake up I will then take it and bring it inside the house because utaba ho nkopa o reke a package at the accepted from the delivery man because she's treating me badly. What's about she's leaving me out of a lifestyle like my lifestyle. This is shameful what's being done to me is what I'm getting at. This woman is so glorious. Like that's why I get my dad. Snacks later on in life when they were married, and by the time he died abantu would be like, that was your husband? Because of just say biltong that my dad was by the time he died. Because Umawam is so glorious that you can't even fathom any day in history when she would have loved that man, been with him. You can't see it. You can't see how in the world my mom and my dad at some point in Nembatwanelana. You can't even see it. And yet it used to exist. We're standing next to each other, Mengati. It's a match made in heaven. But my dad, splat, breaking his teeth on the ground. And my mom kept herself in a bunch and Ngamhlanje. She is so glorious and so beautiful and keeps on getting complimented everywhere she goes. Every so often, different colors and some of them having like ribbons on them. Manicure enye yomhlaba. Moriri always in a bunch. Orata relax yena he. Lili pondonyana. Le one le borang. Mara outfit from. I remember the other day I showed you that dress. My introductory video. In this ministry of mine, I was wearing a particular dress, and I said that this dress was a hand-me-down from my mom because she put it on and imagined that it was too tight on her. So I negazamina. But on me, it was very voopsy, very big, very nelanga. Mara, it still looked very cute. Go and watch my introductory video to this channel, my very first ever videos in my channel. Go and watch those videos and look at that dress. I kept on showing it to you. I'm yo guys, look at my dress. That's how my mom dresses. Do you understand? Muhle lo muntu. Yeah. She is essentially the kind of woman that my dad, by the time I saw it, I was like, yes, like I messed up. Like when your bride, your wife, my mom was his first wife because he did marry another woman after that. When it's Katima Sindlula and then she turns 40, 50, 60 and you see the glory of how she aged. You then realize now that you're a scrawny rando that was a philanderer, that was cheating, that was all up in these streets, only busy. You now realize if at all I had kept myself in a bunch, she would be the woman with whom I got old. They look at their brides as they age, the ones that they messed up with, that now put themselves together with sticky tape, that still smell like Chanel perfume, that are still out here adorning themselves. Uma, I'm just like me. Wabona how adorned I am, how elaborate I am. Masale, di ring. Well, not so much yana ka di ring, mara. Yana eba no para di ring. It's just one ring. Na he kerata tse ngata. Type establishment thing, but accessories, necklaces, misese, the purse, hand me down from my mom, real Valentino. Yeah, type establishment thing. When you look at a woman out, you're still killing it at 66, at 69, at 70. She is still a classy, elegant older lady. Kuna madoda that are divorced from these women that look on with disdain and irritation, and they gnash their teeth, and they're like, I suga bese then by a mosha ngemiti, by a mosha. My dad was still very senile. Below the belt, he died from prostate cancer. Handouts. Muna Ona was an attorney. He wasn't a solicitor, he was an advocate. My dad was a criminal lawyer. And he would have, if he had not messed up in this country, ended up one of the biggest and baddest judges in this country. So essentially, I come from a very academic family, and it would have been wealthy if my dad did not mess up. But the women in my family that have kept themselves in a bunch, I know shame. Hopping up and down. Walking way cheka, busy mole, worming her way through the piping in a mall. You would think ukuthi this woman omdala obvious you would think that she's got a beautiful family until you get a microscope and you gaze carefully at the granular details and realize so essentially what I'm trying to explain to amatota that are all up in my grill, I've been betrayed. I've been stabbed in the back. If at all my family did not go around me or stab me in the back, some of y'all would not even have the bravery. I would have been literally way out of your league. Way out of your league. The women in my family are elegant. Elegant. These snobs. Both my younger sister, who's 24, and my mom, the delivery per month, yes, like it. Living among them that is so poor. They cannot even pay my duties for a Temu purchase that she made 4 weeks ago. She's waiting in Jafela for money to miraculously rain from heaven. Duties is something over a month ago. But shine. And every so often go poetry, go clear water, clear and the sales go recently microwave thing. Listen, I don't know what's going on with these microwaves, right? They are to be telling a story in and of themselves. They're like a haunting, a poltergeist. We got this, remember I told you a story about the old microwave, I think Samsung or Hisense. That just went and packed up on us after just a few weeks of it being around, and they gave my mom a whole bunch of grief about it, but ultimately by replace her go macro, and then they gave her and she got an LG microwave after that one. Hisense in it, she's really very content ka microwave, very cute. Recently it was a microwave is to, and after Hisense microwave during the season when the Hisense microwave gave us grief. My mom in the season when they were busy by Lukisa or whatever, right? Like I don't know what they were doing with it. They were busy tampering. Ultimately they had to give her a brand spanking new one. My mom needed an interim microwave, and I thought that the interim microwave that she had was given her by Macro while they were fixing the old one, like a rental microwave, right? I thought that's what was going on, but instead it wasn't a rental microwave. She bought a small little microwave in the meanwhile while waiting for her big fat chunky expensive one to be corrected, to be fixed and whatever, right? That small little microwave that my mom bought, because I thought that was a rental one. I asked her, microwave I can't my life without a microwave. So I bought an interim microwave. It was so small, the kind that can only squeeze a small little plate, and you can't put a whole juicy looking plate in there, and you also can't put a tall glass in it, just enough. It's like microwave, a student in university or whatever. She bought that in the interim. I I didn't ask her because I don't even want to know, right? And then she's like, no, I bought this one as an interim drive-by shooting. I was like, oh, okay. And then after LG, after buying the LG microwave, why back somewhere mara because ntho ha re se di pakilwe ko ntlong o sa tsebo go di beka and rona jwanong ha rena garage rena le carport. This is a complex. My mom was like, it's unseemly. I don't like how it be archer looking. I'm not she wasn't feeling that microwave, right? And that's what we can go. So the guy wa carpenter wa mo thing, that enlarged the space microwave in order to fit the LG one, because the LG one high sense. The guy wa carpenter wa a microwave stand or even a little bit bigger. Microwave in, right? And then apparently my mom sold it to him for a small price. Okay, and I would only find out that it was sold as opposed to just stored somewhere this season when the LG microwave actually be packing up, right? So LG microwave like as in the thing is not rotating and you don't hear the sound your microwave. Mara, if you press like 5 minutes and like your food will cook, your food will warm, like. So it was warming food, but without you hearing the sound of it actually doing what it does, and the thing was also not oscillating. So basically this brand spanking new microwave yet again had to go back to macro on something ka lona ka di food stena, and I feel like ke modimo o robile ntho tsela o kena o di tubang o bontsha hore lentsha le letawe very high, very seriously high on the supply of ha re tsebe eng, okay? Ke o microwave yeah hi it's next. So moka we khutlisitse ko macro hore kopa lo lokiseng setup ya lona too. Ke mo renting mona kopa le ska tlonkeng. Yeah, very well. It's spooky. Ke bolo ka fela mona modimo is taking up my course. Very well. So listen, so very many things have been going on. So there is something of mine go Temu or go Fastway, go Korea that I'm not able to get. My braided wigs, my necklaces, my other rings and whatnot, le di baslapa tse dintsha tse ke di rekileng le di toothbrush ha di so tle tse ke di rekileng ko Temu from the money that my sister gave me. I can't take them because of duties. I can't, and I've been waiting for month end or ke tlo thola something nyana or ke tlo dintsha duties, and my mother denied me that because of witchcraft. Because this time around ke rekile nthonyana tse imelang that cost about 2,500 rands. My duties were like 450, and I've been waiting for a small little amount to come into my bank account as a result of compassion from my mom. Yeah, well, this month I have a massive fan over here that, thanks to something is going on with the electrical infrastructure up in this joint because of the solar panels. So we're currently like hanging on by a thread onto a very unreliable ESCOM thing that you're doing. Yeah, that's who I am. Like, listen, we've got solar panels. When you get load shedding, we don't have any of that. That's who I am. Don't be looking at my family being so whack. We got electricity 24 hours a day. Anyway, whatever. Those solar panels are just be passing shade. And I only say solar panels because the Holy Spirit said solar panels, and so I figure it's the solar panels that did this thing. And indeed, when I did a little alteration, the electricity stopped going off, because there was a time when after a few hours electricity would just like switch off, and I was like, it's messing with my computer. So seeing as in this season load shedding, I was like, let's put this on ESCOM, your ESCOM. We don't need it. Anyway, whatever. Let's put this on ESCOM until the solar panels can be corrected. And indeed, the solution worked. So things are not going off and on. Whatever it is that might be the overload or the need for refurbishment or the need for maintenance, Yeti solar panels surged so much electricity into appliances that I believe it is responsible for what in the world under heaven is going on with the microwave, even the washing machine at some point in a tote, right? And then fans, like for whatever strange reason. Okay, like right now I'm out here heating my uncomfortable body with a small little makeshift paniki of a fan. Mara, because I can get really hot when the sun starts to rise and everything. Maybe after using an industrial sized fan. This guy don't worry, that's a good factory. When you're like 2 kilometers away. Mara, I already sleep with like fake rain and fake fan because it's just such a cathartic sound. So therefore, fan in a highly going and going. Over the years because this place has been so hot. So now I can't sleep without it. Like now I can't sleep without an industrial fan just going like. This is what I sleep to. Yeah, y'all, yeah. Alright, so this is like a fan and ring with thunder. I sleep with that and literally I amplify the sound using my speaker at the back over there. Surround sound just around the room. So I feel like there's thunder outside. And then I sleep like a baby. So those of y'all that are trying to eradicate insomnia, understand this here works like heaven's miracles. I kid you not. A box fan with rain and thunder, because even my cat sleeps for much longer hours because of this sound. Yeah, just going, I would really greatly recommend this. And to especially improve your experience, like plug it into a fan, not fan, kingy, speaker, to amplify the sound surrounded. And so you will feeling that it's a rainy, thunderous day. No makshisa outside, no magunga neti. And this thing will rock my baby on a treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. It'll rock you like the wind. Yeah, so do that. So thanks to that very loud fan just going, the sound, and I'm gonna amplify it even by speaker. So it didn't give me grief. Some days it used to give me grief before I found that gem on YouTube, right? It used to give me grief because it was an old fan that every so often made a noise that was no longer just white noise in the background. It was actually irritating. But with the rain just going, it now makes it easier. So y'all that come at me with all of your dastardly witchcraft trying to make me struggle to sleep, when I got that on, it's a lullaby. It's a lullaby. So can I industrial fan anyway hectic? And I want to show it to you, but at the same time I don't want to because and she's been around for years. Nane has been around for years. Strong, and then again, hand me down. I say, as I hand me down for my older sister. It's very expensive, it's wonderful. And it now helps me sleep. Do you understand? It's done its time. It's done its rounds in these streets like a bad dude out here sleeping with every girl in the neighborhood. It's done its rounds. So whatever it is that might have been the surge of electricity that was caused by the glitching, twitching solar panels, or yeah, whatever it is that is the maintenance that needs to be done now, the electrician is coming up, believe Kausani type establishment thing. It's something that caused whatever things were operating on it that were already kind of on their way out. Yeah. If it's because already stop, it also messed somewhat with the circuitry of new things like the washing machine. I told you there's a washing machine that is the old one that packed up. And now we've got a new washing machine, and we had like a new microwave and a new whatever. Yeah, these people be out buying new things while my life is looking old like old wine skins. Except I've got new wine skins in Christ. Hallelujah. Whatever. So whatever it is that was that electrical issue, when the dude, what carpenter, because he came again, he keeps coming, when the dude what carpenter rocked up here, he noticed the light overhead this Wendy house that I am in. Noticed it's already flicker, and that night I also had noticed this one at the back of you, that one, yeah, was flickering. It was flickering, right? And I thought that it was maybe because it was getting old, but it wasn't because of that. It was because there was an issue with like the solar panels type setup thing, the feed of power into these places. But the guy the next day who rocked up to build something, who added some new little cupboard or whatnot, notice on top of the thingy, my bobby. The one that illuminates Jarata from the Wendy house that I'm in. It was like, it was going like that. And so he told my mom, he was like, there's something wrong with your electrical power, like electricity, because it was on, because and he was like, by then I'd already experienced a power cut, because I didn't make it I sleep like at like 6, 6:30, because I pray all night long, right? So I already experienced a power cut in the night, and I had to go and mess with the solar box, the place where the solar whole mechanics, the whole hardware, sorry, not like what you are, the hardware in the solar panels. I have key as a thing, and every so often I press a couple of buttons, I put things up and down, and then stuff works again. Not that I know what's going on, but it works eventually because I've got that Midas touch. Moving on. Wait again, I'm starting to get warm again. Yeah. So I go in there and I correct the situation, but then before then, already the night before, the Lord had said by the Holy Spirit, solar panels, and I didn't even know why he said that. But then as the hours progressed, around 4 a.m. in the morning, the power goes off altogether. The thing outside the other solar box goes dee 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 dee. And then I go in there, I press a couple of things, and then it works again. The power returns, but then it goes off every few hours. And I'm like, listen, you're gonna mess with my computer, you're gonna mess with my life. The power returns and goes off every few hours, and then the carpenter guy rocks up here to add a new thing. He notices the light is flickering, tells my mother that there is something wrong with your electric power supply thing. And then I asked my mom, because the power again had gone off, and I was like very frustrated. I'm trying to upload videos, I'm trying to do whatever. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on with Mutlakasi? Right? And then she's like, hey, even the washing machine was off, and now microwave. Yeah, Mara, the thing doesn't oscillate and it sounds high. And then I was like, oh, over and above, because I sleep at 6 a.m. It was now time for me to because my 2. Yeah, I do that. Okay? Because okay? Yeah, type establishment thing, and a whole belang fan Anna that has been my best friend out here hanging out with me like it's a homie, out here taking care of me all these years. Fan Anna that's out here coddling me like a cute baby all these years decides that it's gonna pack up on me in the like kisama bon lankutla. Kesama marasama ena ke moya le trapa ka judgment yona ba ko Cape Town le di hailstones. It's been raining pretty much back to back. Y'all know that's a thing, right? It's a khona pula. Mama Johannesburg. It turns out it is not Johannesburg but the country. I remember the other day being like, God, but why are you giving them rain? They don't deserve it. And God was like, it's not rain. It's too much rain. I'm judging them. Lo and behold, I then turn on the news and discover that hailstones done messed with your cars in Cape Town. Amen. You deserve it. Anyway, whatever. So pula ena from overheating, because this fan was out of passing me shade. Mara really at some point summer ena into basama ka mannet akere ho chesa rona ba banga sa tsebo re iketseng ene jwanong ga se ho chesa jwalo ho fedile ka nna akere. So I woke up and I started getting nako ya ho robala jwanong. First who tlhokafetse king the power went off and switched off my computer, and then on I was really irritated with that. I was like, listen, I can't be messing with my computer, I'll work off it, okay? You be getting out your like smacked. Get the hailstones in the Cape Town, so I guess we're even. Whatever. Kimo fan, momostrating. Just like the night before and all the nights of the past couple of years. Mara, this particular night, it's like if it made a sound, it would sound like that. The historical sound was this one was like this fan was not even moving. It was just going like that. It was not giving me any air. I switched. I take off the plug and put it back on some. I cannot afford for this fan not to work because I need that air all up in my grill in order for me to sleep right next to the sound of rain in my ear from YouTube. What are you doing to me? I'm in pain, don't you see? I can't afford any of this, and I also can't miss out on any sleep. I need my sleep because I need to handle these buggers. I decided to leave it on because at least there's some kind of sound, yeah, fan, even though there's no air. So it's not so hot. Therefore, I can do without the fan going because largely it's just a matter of habit for the air to be all up in my grill. But if it all is cool outside, like when it's raining, I can sleep through that. But I will miss just feeling the air on my face as I sleep proper. All these conditions have to be in place for me to be able to sleep. So frankly, whoever I end up getting married to would just need to understand that I need to sleep with a fan going, noise of rain from YouTube, right next to, like I said, the air of that fan being felt like a blizzard on my body so I can cover my blankets and feel like it's winter. I need to create a winter circumstance. Like a baby. I cannot be feeling summer outside because summer makes you want to be awake all the day long. But winter makes you want to sleep all the night long and all the day long. So I need conditions for me to get sound sleep that are very wintry. So a person just needs to get that one day. Anyway, whatever. This thing is out your far. There's no wind. So it's like there's an element missing. An element is missing. Because now I need to upload videos proper, right? Like I'm weird gay. I'm always editing. I'm always like something. I need to ravasa people. If at all my computer is not busy uploading content, but I've got content that needs to be uploaded and there's a certain timeline within which I'm working, my heart starts to sink into my stomach. I feel like I'm not making proper war. I need to ravasa. I need to ransack and just obliterate that bomb my enemies. And I bomb them with my content, a combination of my content, prayer, consecrated life, and just like this thing that I'm doing, lifestyle, and also being able to overcome that which you don't overcome. Listen, sleep belongs to the righteous. If at all I can sleep, I've slayed some of y'all because y'all can't sleep. If at all I sleep to a point where in the morning I've got pins and needles on one side of the body because I was so rested that I didn't even change position, I've won. 8 hours sleep that's uninterrupted, that's deep, I've won. Cause y'all be out here tossing and turning like a kook sister. You be out here twisting and turning in your bed like a kook sister. You be out here flipping around like a pancake. Cause you are tormented by demons. That are going. So there was an element missing. And I was like, I can't afford an element to be missing because then I'm not gonna burst my enemies. I'm not gonna chop them up like a block. Like a chock-a-block. I'm not gonna prosper to do any such thing. I'm not going to belittle them. Do you understand? As they are in dire need of being belittled. Because after all, are you not doing that to me, oh Stuart Little? I need to bomb some people. But I ain't gonna be bombing nobody that ought to be trying to kill me in these streets. Without no wind in my face. Tell me how should I breathe with no air? You know what I felt like in the movie Total Recall? That thing that goes ga 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 ga. It also starts to kind of like slow down and the people look at it and say, oh my goodness, we're dying. There's no air coming. And everybody's like starting to like pass away. I felt like that. I was like, my fan is not working. Soon there's not gonna be no air. And then I'm gonna start to die. But I told myself I'll deal with it when I wake up. I told myself I'll deal with it when I wake up because it was cool enough outside for me to not be overwhelmed or exasperated by heat. But when the power just kept going off, that's when I was like, hey, my computer needs to be on all the time. And I also don't want something short-circuiting my computer because I need this device to bomb you. Right? And I also need content to keep on uploading because I've got so much content. I've got so many volumes that I have to upload over a week and so therefore publish at the opportune time to bomb you. That needs to happen. Okay, anyway, whatever. I need to keep on doing this. So if at all my content is not constantly uploading, if at all my machine, my factory where I produce content is not just going and going, that is just a chock-a-block to my piece. So I need proper sleep. I need content to always be uploading. I need content to always be exporting. I need to be, this is a machine that is keeping me alive, like proper. You know how a vegetable ought to be breathed on behalf of by machines? My factory is those machines that have kept me, the vegetable, alive. And if at all anything gets pulled out, I start to die. And can't nobody afford any of that. Because after all, I need to come up out of this coma and bomb you. Listen, that has to happen. Okay, so when then electricity kept on going off, I was like, this is interrupting with my uploads. One faction of my factory is not working. And so the piece that I have from the work that I do that keeps me alive, as with sticky tape, like literally, listen, I'm hanging on by a thread. Yeah, is being interrupted by this particular thing. So I wake up because I told myself that I would stay in this and sleep, and then I get then motlakasi, right? Not motlakasi, I would highlight the fact that I can a fan. I need one. I need a fan. Okay? And it already in the early hours of the morning. I fixed it. Go solar box, right? Go solar boxing, press and then voila, it works again. Cause proper, that's how that works. I don't even know what I pressed, but I just pressed enough times until stuff comes back on again. And so I was pressing in there and stuff came back on, but then it died again. And then I remembered, oh, God showed me solar, right? The night before to help me understand how I'm going to eradicate the turning off of the power and on again while we wait for an electrician. It's going to frustrate my projects, and God cares for my sustenance. God cares for my health. God cares that my factory should keep on running. Well-oiled machine. The Lord does not want me to die at your hands. He does not want me enduring a severity of melancholy so exquisite that I will deeply ideate suicide. He does not want anything that's going to glitch and twitch with the routine that I have established that keeps me alive as with sticky tape. Anyway, so then I hack Freestad into the house. Nyobuza manje yini ngalo mhlakasi wa grand sharp switch off kana kwatenge mwaka utshwere microwave ne. Remember ke robala ka bo 6 ne, 6:30. Now on this particular day, it wasn't I couldn't yes, I couldn't sleep because my fan was not just going va 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 va. There was something missing. So borokobaka was one eye open type sleep. The way that this like environment that I create for my sleep is so perfect. For me to finally wake up and open. There was a day when my older sister came here passports because I found them in the house and I kept them the side for her to collect. And I get to be high guy until what can I like you know, there's a police raid. People have to knock like it's a police raid. Here, Mara, if all these things are not on, I sleep so lightly that a meow of my cat can wake me up. A small little slight knock can wake me up. Mara how my ecosystem has been created. Mamela, bombs, ngaphandle. Earthquakes, ga ga ga, could go ngaphandle. And I was just like Jesus sleeping in the boat. Peace be still. The Lord gave me that kind of rest. You know how Christ once upon a time, the winds and the waves and the tumults were all up in these streets, rocking the boat or whatever. His disciples were like, oh, hey, Lord. And the Lord was sleeping. And then these people were panicking because they felt like they were going to drown. And the Lord was like, oh, peace be still. Oh, you of little faith. And then the storm stilled. Wind. Like, I mean, who sleeps in a boat where it's raining and all this water is just flooding into the little boat that you're in, and you not be cold as you sleep? Yet the Lord is a Sabbath rest in and of himself. He is so restful in and of himself. He is God, that he was able to be still when all these like storms were shaking, because he is God. And yet his people were not able to be at rest because they get shaken by tumults around them. The Lord so loves me that he has kept me in so much peace that he gave me the ideal conditions to get the kind of sleep that would make sure that I don't wake up in the middle of the night. Why? Or in the middle of the sleep cycle, whatever it might be. Why? Because ke lora nyoko ya lona kaofela ha e kopane. Ke lora your gangrapa, your gangrene. Do you understand? Ke lora all of your fecal matter. And so because of how much nonsense I wake up heavy by the spiritual psychosis of my nation. The spiritual psychosis of my nation, and it takes me quite a lot to conquer that. An entire day I gain within a currency to overcome the spiritual attacks that are harassing me. I have to make war with the words on their own. You know, the Bible says that demolish arguments and every lofty pretension that exalts itself above the knowledge of the Most High, and hold into captivity every thought to the obedience of Jesus Christ. So, first of all, I have to fight the lies that I saw in my dreams. And then, never mind just the lies. I mean, it's one thing for a person to be like, your hair is actually blue. And for me to just be like, no, it's not. Mara, when then, there is an actual optical illusion that is rubbed on your eyes like Vicks Vapor Rub that's causing you to be blinded and also really sore and tearing up, that is thoroughly trying to convince you that the hair is blue. No, the hair is not blue. My hair is not blue. It is brownish black. I don't know what that color is, but it's certainly not blue. When there is an actual like supportive emotional climate that makes you feel like it's over. First of all, I dream about all your old trash, and then there is an emotional weight of sorrow and melancholy and foreboding that I feel that supplements and so therefore supports the lie. I have to fight all that. And I go through the day praying. I go through the day with a routine that I have established that enables me to, by the time I'm eating dinner, having fasted the whole entire day long, I'm over whatever lie you done told me, because I've wiped the Vicks out of my eyes. Even though I might be bloodshot red, I washed the Vicks out of my eyes so I'm not tearing up anymore. By the time the day ends, I'm still. In the beginning, I am panicked. In the beginning, I'm freaking out. In the beginning, I feel forsaken. In the beginning of the day, ki imetswe. Ke ntho ke di boneng mo ditorong. Maka lona, a tletseng ka trash. Ke tsoga ke wa kukile. Nka ke le saga or whatever. Nonsense. And so because that's like a whole thing, it is imperative therefore that I do not wake up in the middle of my sleep cycle. It is entirely important that I don't wake up. I cannot wake up. From the time ke lights out, a good 8-9 hours later, 7.5. Because if that whole time I fit, anka papa mama haring, 7 hours ill, 8 hours ill, I start to conquer the darkness that is lying to me.